Hello, my name is Danielle Santilli, and I decided to make my creating project be a unit in my middle school general music class. Um, the first lesson is a research project. All the students are going to be in groups, and they're going to be researching a musical genre. All the information that they're going to need for their project is going to be on the class website. The technology that's involved is going to be a computer. Now we have Chromebooks that the students have at the school that they can use during class, or they can check out to use at home if they need to. So any sort of computer access at home or Chromebooks at school, they can use do the project. What skills or knowledge are required of the teachers is they have to be able to know how to make a class website. They need to know how to use Google Docs, and they need to know how to create a Powtoon. Also on their website, they need to have a blog. So either as part of their website or as a separate blog page, they need to have a blog. What's required of the students is they need to know how to, they need to know how to access the internet, use a computer. It helps if they know how to use Google Docs and Powtoons. By Unit 3, they've already done projects using both, so they should have a good knowledge of it, but it's not required because there are tutorials and how-to documents on the class website that will help students figure out how to do it. Plus, the teacher can do class demonstrations for them, so it's not necessary. What are students asked to do exactly for this project? Well, they're asked to go to the class website, which is here, and they can see that the class is divided into 4 units. The projects that we are doing are in Unit 3, which is the music genre unit, so they'll click on that. Unit 3 is divided into sections. The projects that we are going to be doing are the musical genres and history section, so they're going to click on that. And here are 2 projects. We're focusing on project 1, which is the research project. So they'll click here. And this is kind of all the directions on what they're going to be doing. So they're working in groups and researching a musical genre that I've assigned to them. And the first thing that they're going to have to do is fill out the musical genre research guide. So they'll click on that. It opens up a document. In order for them to edit the document, they have to make a copy of it. So they'll go to File, Make a Copy. Okay. And then they want to share it with myself and all of their class or teammates, so everyone who's on their team or group, by clicking share and then typing in their names. Once they're done sharing it, that's done. The reason they have to include me in it is because I'm going to be grading their sheet, so I need to be able to get that. Once they're done with that, they're going to use all the information that they filled out and found on here to create their Powtoon. So if we go back to the website, you're going to see a link for them to create Powtoon. Now, if they don't know how to use Google Docs or they don't know how to create a Powtoon, I've supplied some tutorial videos and a how-to step-by-step guide on exactly what they're doing with how they're going to create their Powtoon, writing a script, adding their background music, dividing the slides, populating the slides with images and all that kind of stuff, and then creating the timing. So I do have this on the website. But let's go on over to Powtoon. I've already logged into Powtoon on my device here, and let's take a look. They're going to start, they can have 3 different options for how they want to create their Powtoon. I'm just going to start from scratch. And what's nice about Powtoon is it is similar to building like a PowerPoint or a Google Slides. They do have like the slides along the left-hand side, and they're populating it with text and images the same way that you would do with a Google Slides or a PowerPoint. But what's nice about Powtoon is it makes it into an animated video. So you can click over here to get like the format you want. But then you can go, here, let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see it better. You can go over to this side and you can add texts, you can add objects, you can add, graphs and sounds, which is very important because they have to import a song from their unit and any images that they would like. Once they're done creating their slide, that's when they're going to save or name it, save it, and then export it. So I'm going to go to one that I already made. So let's go back. Okay. All right. So we go here, and I already made one about the Impressionist unit, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to export it. So you just kind of go up to export, and you're going to export it to YouTube. They'll make sure that they add their account here. I already have mine added. Because this is a free version, you have to make a public one. So all the options here are going to be public. It's education, so they'll scroll down to education. You have to show branding with the free one, and then standard. So then you'd click upload Powtoon, and it'll upload to your YouTube account. It does take a little bit of time for it to upload to YouTube, which is why I already went ahead and did that. So I'm just going to go straight to my YouTube here. Here's my video. And I'm going to go ahead and share it. So I'll click share. I'm going to copy that link, and I'm going to post it to the class blog. So I've already made a blog post. This is where they're going to turn in their 2 projects, both to this same posting here. So they'll click comments, and they'll just kind of put, this is my project, put their team names on here, and then the link to their project, and then they'll submit it. And that's it. So that is it for our first project on their process. Advantages of the project is they can work on it at school, they can work on it at home. They have access to computers both at school and at home because they can check out Chromebooks. At least at our school you can do that. And the Google Docs site is very, very collaborative. Students can be working on that document at the same time, editing it, working on it together. It's very nice. Disadvantages is Powtoon is unfortunately not that collaborative. Students can work on it if they're logged into the project at different times. So they can't be working on it at the same time. So it does involve a little bit of communication on when students are going to be logged on and working on it and when other students are going to be. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. It can be a disadvantage if you are unfamiliar with Powtoon. Google, you can figure out pretty easily, but Powtoon can be a little bit trickier. So if it is your first time, it might take a little bit longer. But I have, in this class, students have worked on this before, so it shouldn't take quite as long because they've created, I want to say, 2 Powtoon projects at this point. And then what type of instructional strategies? It's a very collaborative project. They're collaborating on Google Docs, they're collaborating on making a Powtoon. There's all kinds of benefits on collaborative learning. Another benefit to this project is that it's not using up a ton of class time. You're not setting aside like 2 days of class time for just presentations because all of the presentations are posted on the blog. Students can watch them at home, they can comment on the projects at home, at their leisure whenever they would like to, and you're not using class time to do that. What possibilities can be transferred to other teachers? I think that this project can be used in any class. It doesn't have to be music. Google Docs can be used in any class. You can create a Powtoon project on pretty much anything. So it's very there's a ton of crossover with that. So that is lesson 1. Let's move on to lesson 2. Lesson 2 also is on the class website. So for the lesson 2, students are actually going to be making a podcast. The technology and resources involved is they'll have to use either a Chromebook or their at-home computer to create that, and they'll have to use have the program MicNote installed either on the Chromebook, which all the students have that app on their Chromebooks, or they'll have to install it on their at-home computer. So they will have to have access to that program. What skills are required of the teacher? The teacher needs to obviously have made the class website and the class blog, and they have to know how to use mic note. What skills are required of the students? They have to know how to access the class website. They do not need to know how to use mic note ahead of time. This is the first time I'm having them use it this semester. So the teacher will have to do like a demonstration in class on how to use it. It is pretty easy to use. There's also tutorial videos on the website and everything that will help them. So what are the students asked to do exactly? Let's see. Well, they're asked to go to the website. So we'll go back to the website and go to Unit 3 because that's what the project is in. Click on the musical genres in history. And the second project is the musical genre analysis. So here, what they're doing is they're picking 5 pieces from the musical genre that they studied. So they will have to have done the previous lesson in order to complete this one. And they're going to answer these analysis questions that I've supplied on a Google Doc. They are not turning this into me, so they can type on it, make a copy and type on it if they want to, or just use this as a guide as they're recording their podcast. It's really up to the student on how they want to do it. Let's go back to here, and then they'll be making their podcast on MicNote, so they'll have to open MicNote. What's nice here is I have a little video on how to use it on a Chromebook, because that's what the students have, and also like a step-by-step guide on how to make a podcast on MicNote here, so they can use this as well when they're creating theirs. It also supplies a website where the students can find their pieces from for free and play them while they're making their podcast. All right, so I have MicNote already opened, so let me find it somewhere on the screen. Here we go. All right, so here's MicNote. I already have it launched. It's really easy to do. To add a new note, you just click Note, New Note. They can name it whatever they want to. I'll name it Impressionist, period. All right, and then to start recording, you just hit record. It'll instantly start recording, and then when you're done, you just hit stop. So they'll go through, they'll create their podcast. What's nice too is if I have to take a break or pull something up, it'll hit record, it'll pick up right where I left off, and then stop, and it's really nice. Once I'm finished, in which I have a sample project already done and created, so just click on that. I'm going to go through and I'm going to export it. So let me export it. We're going to export to Google Drive. Make sure that recording is checked here and then hit export. And it goes pretty quickly and it exported. So then it'll open my Google Drive here. And I'll click recent so it shows up. All right, so here we go. Now it's on my Google Drive. What they're going to do is they'll share it the same way that they do with a normal document.
Hello,
just hit
my
share.
name is Danielle Santilli, and I did my sample project on the Impressionist music unit.
Sorry. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so now share. They're going to get a shareable link this time. They're going to copy that link, and then all they're going to do is go back to the class website, go to the class blog, create a new post, fill out their name, in the comment section, put a link to their podcast, and submit. And that will be it. What they'll do for both projects is each student will have to review 3 other classmates' projects on both their Powtoon and their podcast and write a comment about that to show that they had watched other students' work and are learning from other students to make it a little bit more collaborative. And so that's kind of the step-by-step of that project. Advantages of the project. Because music is very auditory, it makes sense to do a podcast. They're able to play sections of their pieces and then give an analysis of that. The listener can listen to the music and hear the analysis at the same time. It just makes more sense to do it rather than doing some sort of a writing assignment. It's also pretty easy to create a podcast, and the students can do that at home or at school. Disadvantages of the podcast, some some students are not familiar with using podcasts or what they're all about. So getting the students familiar with what exactly a podcast is and how to create one might be a little time consuming. Also, podcasting requires the students be in like a quiet environment that can be difficult to do at school. So it really does require students to be able to work on the project at home. And, not all students are happy about that, especially if they have to check out a school computer. But I think it's still a good project. Affectional teaching strategies, you're accessing those higher order learning skills from Bloom's taxonomy. They're collaborative learning. They're analyzing. They're using their personal opinion of things with information to back up their claims, showing a connection to that. And they're commenting on other students' work. And how can this be transferred to other teachers or subjects? I mean, you can create a podcast about anything. I think that the analyzing music obviously is more geared towards a music class, but I think that you can, use podcasting for pretty much anything. And that is it for my creating project. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I look forward to watching all of yours. Thank you.